everyone, so today we're going to talk about transformations, how to identify them, and also how to graph them. So here is a generic summary about transformations, and the first thing we're going to look at is identifying what the vertical transformations are. So the vertical transformations are always going to be in the front and at the end. So these are all your vertical transformations. So the number that's in the front, so the number you multiply by, is going to talk about either stretching or shrinking. The negative sign that you have is going to refer to the vertical reflection. And the number that's at the end is going to talk about your shifts. So it's going to talk about either going up or going down. The next is your horizontal transformations. So these happen in the inside of your function. They happen right close to the x, so that's how you can remember that these are your horizontal transformations. So again, the number that's in the front of your x, the number you're multiplying by, is going to talk about stretching or shrinking, but just horizontally. And then it's also going to talk about a horizontal reflection when you've got a negative sign. And again, at the end, right after your x, you're going to have your horizontal shifts either going left or right. Now, here's something that you want to remember. You got to think about your order of operation. So you want to think about PEMDAS when you are trying to apply these transformations. Now, with A and B, so this number here, these are the ones that you multiply. So these are, again, going to be times the negative, or times the -1, or times a half, or times 2. The next you're going to think about are your shifts. So these are either adding or subtracting. So like +1, +3. And you're always applying A and B. So your stretches, shrinks, and reflections before you apply your shifts. Now here are some things for you to remember. The horizontal transformations are inside your function, and they actually do the opposite of what you think they should do. So that's something that you need to remember and keep in mind as we look through the next examples. So let's consider a generic function, and here we have to write a new function, g of x, on which the following transformations occur. So what we're going to do is we're just going to write g of x, and they are going to occur on f of x. So I'm giving myself some space so I can see where these transformations are happening. Now the first one is a reflection over the x-axis. So remember, if you are reflecting over the x-axis, you are changing the y values, and that's a vertical reflection. And that negative side is going to go outside, so in front. The next one you're going to look at is a horizontal shrink. Now this is a horizontal transformation, so these are going to happen inside, so right next to the x. And remember, it's a shrink by 1/3, so we actually have to do the opposite of what it says. So we're thinking 1/3, flip it, do the opposite, so you're actually going to multiply by 3. Okay, here we are going to describe the transformations that make this graph different than our generic function. Now, the thing that you want to notice is that you have a 2 in front of your x. So what's very important is you want to factor out the 2 so that way you can see your horizontal shifts a little more clearly. So I'm going to rewrite what our function is, and I'm just going to factor out that 2 so I can see those shifts a little more clearly. And now we can go ahead and identify what's going on. So the first thing we're going to look at is that negative that's in the front. So again, we have a vertical reflection, and again, that's changing your y values, and that's going to jump over the x-axis. That 2, that is inside, right? Still next to your x, inside your function. There you have a horizontal transformation. That is actually a shrink, right? Inside is opposite, and you are shrinking by 1/2. And last but not least, we have this -3. It's still on the inside, right next to the x. So we think it should go to the left, but we're actually going to the right 3. So here we give you a graph. We gave you a table just to help you to keep yourself organized. The more transformations you have, the easier it will be to make sure that you've done the correct transformations on the correct x or y. So let's first identify what our parent function is. We have a square root, so our parent function is the square root of x. Go ahead and just fill in the table for that parent function. So with a square root function, we can't have negatives under a radical. We've got 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2, 9, 3. It's good for you to understand and know what your parent function table of values will look like for those coordinates. So we're going to just graph and plot this. Our 9's a little bit off, but that's okay. Here is what our parent function will look like. And we're going to go ahead and now identify what these transformations are. So this negative that is in the inside, it is a horizontal reflection, and it's over the y-axis. The next one that you see is going to the right 2. Now here is something for you to remember, right? These are the transformations that are happening on your axis. Now the very last one is going to be this +1, and you are going up 1. So the up 1 is the only transformation that's going to happen on your y's. So here is what you need to know is that this column, so those x values there, that's what you're going to do those two transformations on. And then this y is what you're going to do the up 1 on. So we're going to give you sort of a generic, okay, here is x, what are we doing on it? Here's y, what are we doing on it? And then we'll get our new table of values. We're not going to have anything with the negatives there, so I'll just cross that out. All right, so with my x's, we have a horizontal reflection. So that's that negative that's in the front. We're multiplying by a -1. We're going to the right 2, so we're going to add 2. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to take 0, we're going to add 2 to it, take 1, it becomes -1, and then we're going to have a +1. We're going to have -2 next, and we're going to have -7 next. So there are our new x values for the y. Now let's add 1. We are going up 1, so all those y values there, we are going to add 1 to them. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so there you have it. You have a new table of values for the transformed function. So let's go ahead and plot them. 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, and 7. Oh, we're slightly off, but we'll just go a little bit off on our graph there. And look at how your graph flipped over the y-axis. You went to the right 2. You kind of shifted everything over to the right 2 and shifted all those points up 1. Okay, well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you need extra transformations help, there's a link to a video. Click on it, you can get more practice and gives you a little bit more detail on transformations. Thanks for watching and have a great day.